Welcome back to the channel. This week on the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, we're going to spend the day in the garden together, pruning the hydrangeas and the fuchsias, plus trying to tackle the catnip. In addition, we're going to check out the Kiwi Barefoot Sprouting Station and see how the chilies are going, the cucumbers and all the other seeds that are sitting there on the heated propagator and off the heated propagator. So let's go potter in the garden. My name is Dawn and I am the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Good morning. It is Thursday the 14th of August and we have sun. It's amazing. We've had rain, wind and everything yuck in between, with the occasional gorgeous rainbow for about the last 5 days. So today I'm getting out into the garden and I'm going to enjoy the garden for the whole day, well, as much as I can. I may have to move around the different areas of the garden depending on whether if the easterly gets up, but at the moment it's around about 10:30. There's no wind, fingers crossed for the next wee bit, and I'm going to get out here and I am going to tackle first the fuchsias and then probably the hydrangeas after that. Now unfortunately the hydrangeas, doesn't matter what time of day it will be in the shade, so I'll get in there and I'll do what I need to do. If it gets too cold I probably won't finish it. What I need to do firstly is prune them, and then I need to give that area a bit of a top up with compost and this plants that require a wee bit of peat. So while my hydrangeas are a blue variety anyway, they do need a wee bit of acidic stuff like peat or some other acidic organic matter to keep them the beautiful blue that they normally are. So now while it's nice and fine, I'm going to reposition myself and get myself started on the fuchsias. Rightio, so this is the fuchsia I'm going to tackle first. You're not going to be able to see me and the fuchsia in the camera at the same time, unfortunately. Now you want to prune fuchsias or tidy them up just as that end of winter, beginning of springtime starts, and you can see, if I can, that there is some new foliage coming up. Now fuchsias are basically broken down very roughly into hardy, showy, patio sort of tender ones, which the patio tender ones or potted ones need to come in over winter if you're in a frost prone area. But these ones here are what they generally term as hardy, or they could even come in underneath the showy version, and they can sit out here in the garden and they don't tend to complain too much about the frost that we get here in coastal Canterbury, even the heavy frost. Like we did have a good frost this morning, even my deck was white, and that doesn't happen that often. So I'm just going to tidy this up and prune it back. Now the basic principles of pruning, taking out the dead, the damaged or the diseased, is your first part. Then you're wanting to reduce this down between about 1/3 to 1/2, and also clearing any areas that are of inconvenience. So like if you've got it spilling over a path or something like that, then you want to do it. I love this one, it's beautiful ballerina type fuchsia. The other thing is, and I'm going to try it this year, I've never done it, I've always just taken cuttings, is to propagate from the berries, and I don't know if I can squish it and show it. Oh yeah, there it is. Sort of like a bit of a grape berry. Is the seed, and you can propagate from them. So I'm going to try that this year. I've never done it, but what the hell? I'm always good at trying something different. So I'm going to harvest some of these berries and pop them in a container and see if I can get them to shoot away. So like most pruning, you want to, once you've got rid of all the dead wood and diseased and damaged and any crossovers and you're clearing out the centre, just remember to prune to just above a shoot so that you've got new growth coming along. Yeah, I'm going to lose a bit, but that's what happens when you're pruning, and it will strengthen it and generally just give the whole bush a new lease on life for the upcoming summer. So what I'm going to do is just pop the camera on and work away and do a bit of speedy, and you can catch up with it when I've finished. Have you come to help, Lou? Hey, have you come to help? Oh, you've been dying to have me out in the garden for days, haven't you? Hey? You come to help? Hey? Oh, it's nice and warm, isn't it, for your little boy? Hey, you hear lots of things going on? Hey? Hey, Lulu? Who's a beautiful boy? Come to help, Mum? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I have pruned that to the way I want it, taken out some significant dead wood, removed a lot of the stuff that was really low, and stuff that was in the centre, crossing and what have you. There's a whole lot of new shoots coming from the centre, so we'll encourage them because eventually this older wood will give away. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Cleaned up around it, lots and lots of self-seeded poppies and other self-seeded plants, and it'll also give these gorgeous little daffs a chance to stick their heads out properly now that it's gone, or tidied up I should say. It's not gone, but yeah, so happy with that. I've got another one to do, so I'll move my way down the border. I won't bore you with doing a second one. And I've cleaned up in between shots a whole lot of other self-seeded stuff and weeds and things like that. Took the opportunity while I had it and working my way along. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I'll keep working that way, cleaning things up, and later on we'll head over to the hydrangeas and we'll have a look at those as well. Oh, you'll have to excuse me if you catch me sniffing too. Finally caught the head cold that was going around the house, though thankfully I've got a really mild dose and being out in the sun is just the tonic for it. So I apologise if you do catch me sniffing. I try not to. It's after lunch now and it's still beautiful and sunny for the rest of the garden, but this area, as I said earlier, never gets the sun at this time of year. So the hydrangeas are needing a haircut. They're fairly easy to do. I always leave mine till August at least, depending on how cold and wet and all that, till they start budding, because it's just easier. Plus, normally the mop top heads help protect it. However, this year the hydrangeas have had a sort of a early haircut because hubby decided that he'd had enough of them, bless him, blocking the path. So they got a trim there. Generally I give my hydrangeas a really good haircut every year because they do come away and they grow like billy-o, and I find that by doing that and I usually cut them down to about 1/3 of what they are now, I get really good growth and good flowers and things off them. I have 3 hydrangeas here in the entrance area of our place. They're all the same. They are a bread blue flower one, and it's really quite blue, and I'll see if I can find a photo and I'll put it up in the corner during the film, during the editing, so that you can see what it looks like. But it is really pretty. I love the flower off this. So when pruning, it's the basic rules: dead, damaged, diseased, take it out. Clear the centre if you can, though I find with these I don't take a lot of centre wood out because they seem to do okay without that. I do definitely take it and cut back along the path here, so that I try and reduce the amount of obstruction that they cause. Yeah, other than that, they're fairly easy to do. I'll bring you in a bit in a minute and you can see where I'm going to cut to, and generally I will also do a bit of summer pruning if they really get away. After I've done the pruning, what I'm planning to do is around the outside edge I always put a bit more composty stuff, and also mix in a couple of good handfuls of peat. Now, some people don't like using peat because it is actually a finite resource. You can use other acidic things. I've never tried it myself, but I understand pine needles are okay if you can get them, or if you want, you could add a chemical type stuff. I quite like the peat. It's the only, well, it's not the only thing I use it for, but I tend to prefer to use an organic type acidic stuff for my garden. Right, I'll bring you in and I'll show you what I'm going to do and where I'm going to do it too. This is the one area that I haven't got raised beds. I think I've previously indicated that this area was designed before my back started playing up. Not long before, but unfortunately before, and it was part of the hardscaping that was done when our house was built. So yeah, now anyway, into the pruning part. So as you can see here, there, see if I can bring it, yeah, that's better. These are the wee bits that are going to put out leaves, and eventually some will sprout flowers. Flowers usually only occur on the top, on the top of a flowering stem, of a stem. But if these nodes put out branches, then they will flower at the end of them as well. And pruning, as I said, is fairly simple, and I do it fairly hard. So let me see if I can find. So I think you probably can see that there is a bud, and what I would do, sorry, I'm not going to be able to, is just cut at an angle, and I always cut at an angle because it helps with water runoff and stops the end thing, and just cut off like that, and that'll be about it. I may actually even go a bit lower on that one, but the thing about that is you want to go to an outward bud, so try and not do too much to the inward thing. Outward is, on most things, is the, you know, whether it be trees, currant bushes or anything, the idea is to try and keep your centre clear so that there's plenty of air circulating, so you're not going to get diseases or anything like that starting up, because with no air moving through it, that's when the diseases are going to start getting through. So yeah, I might actually, there's an outward bud further down, which yeah, I can see on camera, so I'll probably do that one. But you know, if you're not too sure about how far to go and how far you want to go, just take it off a bit at a time, and you know, take it off to half, or even, you know, down a bit further, and step back and see, Does that look right? Because when you're working up close, you're not actually going to be able to see the total shape of what you're doing. So I'm just going to work away at this, and I'll put the camera on and you can watch me doing it for a bit, and we'll just do a bit of speedy. So that's one of the hydrangeas done. Yeah, it looks pretty vicious and savage, and I've got it down to where I'd like it. You don't have to cut them back this far or this hard. If you've got the space for them, there's no problem. I've got a couple of restricting things here. I've got a path here, house there, and yes, they can go either way, but I find generally I need to be fairly hard on my pruning to keep them in check. I love hydrangeas. Yet another memory from childhood. We had them down the south side of the house. They were the big old-fashioned, big pink flowersy ones, and I don't think that they ever actually got a haircut because they just had heaps of room and they just did their own thing. But yeah, I do remember them. So I'm going to do the other two. You don't need to watch me doing that, and then I'll bring you back when I'm doing the mulching and composting thing for them, and we can talk through that. So I've done all the hydrangeas now. It took me a while. That's one of the things about not being as mobile as I used to be. Things take a lot longer than they used to take. Now I'm going to do the compost and the peat mix in around the hydrangeas just to keep them their lovely blue colour. If you don't want them blue and you want the pinky ones, then you just don't have the acidy stuff. So I just use a general compost mix, and it comes in these big bags which are blooming awkward for me, but excuse me, the family are good. They drag them around for me and I can drag them small distances. I can't lift them. So when I'm doing something like this, I just need to make it lighter, simpler, easier for me to do. Takes me a lot longer because of that, but you know, it is what it is. So I've got a bucket here, and I'm going to half fill the bucket with this stuff, and then I've grabbed some peat out of the bag that I've just bought. It was too heavy to move, so I just threw some in here, and I'll mix several handfuls of that into the bucket, and we'll just sprinkle it around the bases of the hydrangeas. Simple as that. Not really going to any other things. The azaleas also like acid, but they seem to be quite okay at the moment, except for this poor one here, which I'm seriously thinking about putting a new one in there. It's never really done well, so either that or put something else there, but that's by the by. I'm getting distracted. So the big trouble I have with these bags is that they use the metal ties on them, and boy, can they hurt your hands. So I've got my trusty pliers here. I'm getting a bit rusty because I dragged them all around the garden, and then whoops, oh bother. So that's broken, and I'll have to be careful and pick up the pieces, otherwise it could be dangerous to someone in bare feet and or cats. So I'll pick that up in a minute. Sorry about the noise of this against the mic. So I've mixed all that up and it's ready to go, and I'm just going to sprinkle it around the base of the hydrangea. Probably do it in handfuls because it's just easier to control it. And you can spread it a reasonable way out because the hydrangea roots will be a good way out now. Try and not do what I just did and hit the crown, but I'll brush that off later. Right. So it's a bucket full of compost and peat in around it. It'll water in over the next couple of months, and that's it. I don't mix it in or anything. I try not to disturb the soil here much because it just promotes weeds, and I find it hard getting down to get the weeds, so I don't want to promote them any more than they already turn up. So I'm going to get this finished, and then we'll see what time it is and what else we can tackle today. It's just after 3, and it's taken me most of the day since 10:30 to get the fuchsias done and the hydrangeas, what have you, but it is what it is. I am going to see how much of the catnip I can get sorted, because I want to get this bed prepped and ready for the weekend, because I want to try and get the Chilean guava in here this weekend if I can. I still haven't quite worked out how to get it out of the pot, but we're thinking sharp chisel and trying to split the pot. So I don't think a hacksaw will do it. It's just too thick, the plastic, but we'll see how we go with that. That could be worth filming, except the family's going to help me. It might be worth a bit of a giggle, but they don't want to be recorded, which is fair enough. So I am going to see if I can dig this up in clumps, because I'd like to be able to at least save some of it to pot on. I have others, but it's nice to be able to keep them going because the cats love them. Not just my cats, the whole neighbourhood's worth of cats like them. So I'll keep doing that. And then once this is out, in the next day or so, if I get time tomorrow afternoon, I'll come out if it's fine. I need to top this bed up with some more compost, because it's settled significantly since last year. This will be its second summer, these beds. They were done the winter a couple of years ago. Yeah, so 2 years ago. So this bed has settled significantly. The other beds I've topped up bit by bit. I tend to throw the odd bucket of stuff on it as I'm emptying my seed trays and things like that. The only problem with that is that if you've got any loose seeds that haven't germinated, you end up with them in the garden, as I did last year, where I ended up with a huge patch of parsley just over behind where the camera is. But hey, it was tasty. And then I just dug it up and transferred it into a pot in autumn. So, but I'm going to have a go at this. The family have bought me out a cup of tea. They decided that I needed a top up, but I will leave the camera running, and we'll try and do some speedy with it, and we'll just see how I go. It might be a total disaster and I might not be able to dig it out. I'm pretty sure it's got a fairly significant root, so it might be just a bit past me today, because I've already done 2 big things. Thing with my back condition and my arthritis and things like that, I do tend to tire easily, and when I get too tired and what have you, I suffer during the night and don't get a good night's sleep because I'm sore and achy. You know what it's like, overdoing it. But I've just got to remember, I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm an old hen. But enough of that, let's get on to this. Hello, darling. Mum's doing? Hey, hello, darling. You want to come and see what Mum's doing? You can have a bit of catnip, are you? Okay. You have a bit of nip. I've actually put some aside for you. Just some there. I was going to take it inside for you, darling. Hey? You can have a bit of nip, are you? Hey? Nothing like a bit of catnip in the afternoon. Bit of afternoon tea, Mum. Hey, sweetheart. Oh, hello. Now you've got you. Right, that's defeated me for now. I've got about half of it out. Got quite a few good wee nubs and things like that I'll go and pot up right now. So, you know, that will start another one quite nicely. So I'll go and pot those up now. But yeah, as far as trying to wrangle that out, I've about done my deed for the day. I may have to get the family to come and give me a hand with taking the last of that out. Got visited by both the cats. Obviously they either smelt the catnip on the air because I was moving it around, or it was just trying to come and visit and see what I was up to in the garden. So I'm going to do this now, pop them up, see how I go. I think I've probably done my deed for the day in the garden. I've had a really nice day in the garden. I enjoy being out here all day and just pottering along at my own pace, which, you know, that's the really important thing in gardening. Don't push yourself. If gardening's a task, then it's not enjoyable. Gardening should be enjoyable, relaxing, sometimes slightly frustrating when things aren't working out the way you want. But generally it's about enjoying being outside, enjoying watching things grow, seeing what happens with your flowers, enjoying the outcome of your veggie garden. Sometimes it fails, sometimes it doesn't, and you know, I'm looking forward to this season's tomatoes. For example, last year's tomatoes were an absolute disaster. I have never had blight, but I had blight last year because it was just so wet and damp and cold here. So, you know, it was unfortunate, but it was just one of the way the cookie crumbled. The year before I had massive tomatoes and capsicums for Africa, which was absolutely amazing. I've got my fingers crossed that this year we're going to have a good season. So going to go and pot these up now, and then probably just go and check the propagators and things before the evening. We'll do a wee bit of a seedling catch up tomorrow, and that'll round up the week for me in the garden. Good afternoon. It is Friday the 15th of August, and I'm going to do a quick Barefoot Sprout update on what's going on in the propagation area. And there's quite a bit to show you, but I will move the camera so that you can see things and what have you. But generally, I've still got my heated stuff here, and my non-heated stuff has moved a bit to the far side of that table, and I've got some warm weather stuff that has been potted on living over here at the moment, but we'll have a closer look at that in a sec. You may hear in the background, or may not, that there's a fan going. What I'm doing is I'm just gently got a fan going backwards and forwards here. The idea is that it's to mimic a gentle breeze and help strengthen the plants so that they're not soft and floppy. So we will get into having a look at what's what in a sec. So the standard temperature 20 degree heated propagators, a lot of the stuff from last week's gone. The basil's still there at the moment, and then there's a couple of chilies left over, which I will pot on in the next week, I think. They're just starting to put up true leaves. So, and I've got some new stuff on there that is literally just starting to poke stuff out. So it's things like some cornflower. What else have I got there? There's some nigella, what else have I got? Dianthus is basically there. So I got to add a few more things to the far one because there's a couple of gaps there, and I'll keep going on that. Right, now moving down to the thermostated heat pads, I've put my cucumbers back on there because they'd stalled a bit and it was really cold, even though the ambient temperature in the house was between 18 and 20. They seem to need a wee bit more oomph. So since I put them on there on the weekend, so about 5 days ago, they have appreciated it and taken off again, so that's good. The rest of the stuff I've got on them is mainly capsicums, a few ketchup chilies, and the extra aubergines as well, and some cinnamon basil and Thai basil as well. So they're all doing well and I'm really pleased with them. Just having a few issues with the heat pads. Notice especially the one there occasionally seems quite cold, even though it says on the thermostat that it's on. If I move the probe, then I find that it seems to kick-start it again, so I'm just going to have to watch that. But generally they're doing what I want them to do, so I'm quite happy with that. And this weekend's meant to be fine, but early next week is meant to be yuck again, so I'm going to be planting up some more stuff. Now on here, I've got a few seedlings in the background which you can't see because the water bottles, just some onions and some brassicas that I've got going. But generally what I've got in the two tubs immediately in front of you are my chilies and eggplants basically. And yes, there are a lot of them, but as I said, I've got a couple of other projects going on that they're for. So they'll stay inside over the next 6, maybe 8 weeks, and I'll just have to keep the fan on them to get them strengthened, and as they grow I'll pot them up, put them into new pots, and also I'll tie them to a support stick. So yeah, they're all good at the moment, they just need time. Right, so down on the floor underneath the tables are a whole lot of stuff that I've potted on. So there's lettuce there, red gem and just plain gem, the green one, and brassicas, etc. already. They're going out into the greenhouse in a few minutes. They're just in here for the last night or two because we'd had frosts and I didn't really want to chuck them straight out into the greenhouse on a frosty night. They'll be fine now. We've got about 3, maybe 4, even longer nights where it's not going to drop down to low temperatures. They'll adjust and they'll be perfectly fine. So yep, they're all going as well. And lastly, under the other little table, I've got some onion seedlings that I've potted up. I normally do my onion seeds in 6 cells once they've initially germinated, and then I just repot them into 4 per 6 cell, and then when I come to plant them out, I just pop the whole cell directly in without divvying them up and do them as multi-sown. I did try initially of just putting the seeds directly into the 6 cells, but I never seem to get it right, so by just scatter sowing into a plain seed tray and then potting them on once they were big enough, I seem to get a better thing. And the background is my kumara cuttings, which are still doing well. So they just probably need a bit of TLC tomorrow. The water looks like it needs topping up. And my cuttings from my passion fruit, I think they're starting to put some roots out. Just see tiny little spurs on them, so I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, so overall, that is the Kiwi Barefoot Sprout report. And next week we'll see how things have gone that are hopefully coming up this week and what else I've planted on. There's some stuff out in the greenhouse, but none of it's come up yet, so I'll show you once it has. Good morning. Right, it's time for a cuppa and a chat. It's actually Sunday. I'm really behind this week. It's been a bit of a higgledy-pickledy old week, but I thought we'd just have a quick review of what we did get up to for the week. So the fuchsias and the hydrangeas, that's really the last of my big pruning jobs done for the winter, so I'm really pleased that they're done. And with luck, yeah, they should be good. Yeah, I mean, gardening is luck, isn't it? So yeah, with luck, that'll be good. The propagation station seems to be doing quite well. I've got quite a lot to plant this week coming. Get quite a bit in. I've done a wee bit that I haven't recorded. Things like I threw in a whole lot more broad beans and some more peas and some more sweet peas and things like that. So they're all good. And they're sitting in the greenhouse just slowly propagating. There's no need for them to be on a heat pad, so they're just doing their thing. As I said, the weather this early part of this coming week is meant to be stink again, so I'll just lurk inside at my end of table potting up station. As the weather warms up, I'll start using the wee place I've got set up in the greenhouse, or in the garage is the other place that I have set up for doing seedling propagation and or potting on and things like that. So it's always nice on a lovely morning like this to be hanging out outside rather than sitting at the end of the table, so I'll be doing that. The spring flowers are starting to come out, so I'll pop up a few photos of those in a few moments just on either side, so you can have a look at them. You see the garden slowly waking up, and it's just a really nice time of year. I really enjoy spring. I love autumn too because of all the colours. Summer's got its best things, and winter, yeah, I'm a winter freak. I like winter. But that's because I'm always hanging out for a wee bit of snow, even though we get it once in a blue moon. But yeah, it is what it is. I'd like to thank everyone who's subscribed to date. It's really good having that along, and if you are able to subscribe and you haven't done so yet, it is free. I know the wee word subscribe seems to indicate that you got to pay, but it's not. It's just one of those funny words that they use. If you can comment and like on the video, that all helps towards the algorithm, as well as watching the video all the way through. That helps promote it through that funny YouTube algorithm that they've got. So for now, I'm going to round off the vlog and wish you all a good and healthy week, and hope the weather stays reasonable in your area and that spring brings as much joy to you as it does to me. And for now, I'll say bye.